My name is Russell Kerr. I'm a teacher at Frankston High School, where I'm responsible for the hands-on learning program. This program arose from my concerns about the large number of students who do not engage successfully with mainstream education. In 2003, I was fortunate to be awarded a Westfield Premier Scholarship to explore school programs in New Zealand, UK and Italy which address the issues of students at risk of disconnecting from school and the wider community. I found it a fascinating experience talking with a wide range of educators who were operating in both large and small schools, and sometimes outside of a school context altogether. I found myself exploring the many different ways in which these educational places were catering for students who weren't travelling that well in normal classes. There were many common themes. I met a very interesting person at my first port of call, a small school operating in a house in Christchurch. Here I spoke with Hamish, who told me that he'd set the school up on principles of a book he'd been reading, Horse Sense for People.
This is an adventure school, which is sort of motivating to learn is our byline. So we use adventure to motivate kids to get into life really, and that flows on to their learning.
I loved his school, and I went straight to a bookshop and purchased a copy of this book, which I found quite fascinating, and found myself making the application to the ways in which we handle our students. I then went on to read the original book by Monty Roberts, The Man Who Talks to Horses, and popularised in the film The Horse Whisperer. For Monty, the fundamental issue when working with a horse is establishing trust. Monty Roberts explains in his book the fundamental desire of a horse, and also of young people, to want to belong. He calls this expression of trust join up. Where family was not able to support the students of many of these schools, like Edgware in London, they ran programs outside of the normal school hours.
I mean, I've also set up a big table tennis club after school, because our children were leaving here 3:30. They didn't want to go home, they stayed at school. Why didn't they want to go home? Because they enjoyed being at school. So they'd hang around the playgrounds, and then they'd have time on their hands, and time, breeds into some kind of criminal activity, so then graffiti and rubbish and all that started up.
I also found effective teachers established a desire for learning.
I'm an obsessive learner myself, and I want to have every student that comes near me catch the addiction. So I guess I operate strongly from a learning basis.
Good.
So my philosophy is that when they come in for an interview, what I'm looking for in the interview is that they want to learn and they want to change. Because if they don't want to learn, they don't want to change, we can't help them.
We've made the curriculum much more inclusive. We basically designed a curriculum for every individual child, which the University of Cambridge claimed at a conference I was speaking at that was impossible. So I sat there and said, actually, this is how you do it.
For every kid, or
every individual child here?
Too many of our kids are standalone, that they don't cry, they've seen too much, they've seen too much pain, and so they block everything out and they don't care about anything. We try and get the passion and emotion back into their lives, and once you've got that emotion, they start to care. And once they start to care, you can work with them.
I found the contrast of learning styles in Italy fascinating. Rather than our reliance on pencil and paper, the Italian students do a lot more listening and oral response. The other obvious difference I observed is the quality of relationship that existed between teacher and pupil. I felt it was often more mature, possibly because it is not distracted so much by such things as uniform and rules. My general observations and conversations led me to believe that the young Italians related more effectively with adults. So according to Monty, there is no such thing as teaching, only learning. He learned this as a child from his teacher, Sister Agnes, who used to say, knowledge needs to be pulled into the brain by the student, not pushed by the teacher. Monty Roberts discovered how to create a desire in horses to join up, or become one with him. This formation of trust or join-up is bringing the student into membership with the rest of the community. This is the experience of belonging. For some students, this has never happened. For these students, it needs to be nurtured carefully.
I think it's all to do with smallness, all to do with relating to a very small number of people, all to do with giving people a sense of achievement and providing suitable curriculum.
Si può continuare a fare quello che facevamo 20 anni fa in un contesto totalmente diverso ormai.
You'd like teachers to be a little more aware of what's going on in society now, because it says we can't keep teaching in the way that we were teaching 20 years ago, in a social context which is completely different. So teachers need to wake up to reality.
So where do these thoughts lead us? I believe if we don't take time with these students and provide extra resources within our schools, these same students will seriously disrupt the learning opportunities for others. They will later become a larger cost to the community if nothing is done.